Wheel of Fortune will not be seen tonight in order to bring you a Channel 5 sports special. It's World Series time in Missouri, and we'll show you the National League pennant-winning Cardinals on this Show Me Series preview special. It's brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. For all you do, this Bud's for you.
Right now, we are live, and you're looking at a very quiet, almost empty Busch Stadium in St. Louis, home of the 1985 National League champion Cardinals. And right now, of course, the Cardinals are over in Kansas City, where they are getting set to meet the Royals. You know, you've seen the tents down on the field. They are getting set to paint the emblems of both the American and National League on the turf here at Busch Stadium. And the killer tarp is down because rain is expected, but of course, 4 days from now, it's going to be wild here as Game 3 between the Cardinals and the Royals will start the three-game set, the middle set of the World Series right here. Well, the action, of course, over in Kansas City underway tomorrow. We're going to talk tonight with both of the managers. We're also going to get a team-by-team comparison. All of that and more is coming up when we come back to Busch Stadium right after these messages. At the beginning of the 1985 season, not one of the major sports publications in America said that the Cardinals would finish first. In fact, in our first Cardinal Control broadcast back in April, we stated that the Sporting News had picked the Cardinals to finish dead last in the National League East. So, Sporting News, this one's for you. Well, what about Sport Magazine? What was their prognostication with regard to the Cardinals and where they would finish in '85? Well, the Sporting News said, or the Sport Magazine said, that the Cardinals would finish last. So, for Sport Magazine, this one's for you. Not to be left out, Inside Sports made some predictions last spring in one of their issues, and they assessed the Cardinals' chances of success, and they decided that the Redbirds would also finish in last place. Inside Sports, this one's for you. Not everybody predicted that the Cardinals would finish dead last. Street and Smith, a very famous publication, they did a little better, just a little. They said the Cardinals would finish in fourth place. Street and Smith, this one's for you. It's been something special. That Cardinal ship sailing rather smoothly through some very rough waters, you might say, but how about the man at the helm, Whitey Herzog? Well, when we come back, we're going to talk things over with Whitey and also get some thoughts from his counterpart on the Royals. That's coming up. Stay tuned. Jay Randolph with you here at Busch Stadium. Whitey Herzog, the manager of the Redbirds, is in Kansas City tonight, of course, and that's where he makes his home in the off-season and where he once managed the Royals. Whitey Herzog, what a year he has had. And our Art Holiday was in Kansas City today, and he talked things over with Whitey.
On a number of occasions, I've heard you say that George Brett was probably the best player that you ever managed. Obviously, he had a great league championship series, the MVP of the series, and he's going to be a big key.
Well, Art, I've been pretty fortunate. I've had a lot of good ball players and a lot of good ball clubs because I've had a lot of good ball players. And when I first came here to Kansas City in '75, George had just come up to the big leagues and was just blossoming right then and there to a bona fide superstar, and he's been a superstar ever since. And he plays the game so hard. He has the right approach for it, and he's a great hitter. He's a great fielder, but he's the kind of guy that doesn't need a manager. He's just one great guy and one great ball player.
Whitey, you've got some people who are a little bit banged up right now. You still don't know exactly what's going to happen with Vince Coleman. I know you're hoping to get him back in the lineup. And Danny Cox has a tender elbow. You said he was going to be able to go for you. But those two guys, getting a couple of days rest has got to help them a little bit. But I know you're concerned about it.
Yeah, I'm sure Vince wouldn't have been able to play the seventh game. And now it'll be on Saturday. So possibly he would be able to play in. We're fortunate we have Tito and Cesar both because we can fill in there pretty good by moving Ozzie up in that second hole against left-hand pitchers, and they're going to start a left-hander on Saturday night. But I do want Vince back and put him in left field, and we're going to have to try to create some things here. They got a good pitching staff, Kansas City has. We've got to hope we can get some people on base and run a little bit.
You mentioned the Kansas City pitching staff. They've got several good left-handers, and left-handers have given the Cardinals more trouble than right-handers this season. Does that concern you?
Well, I think they did early. I really believe that. I think if you'll check it out, Art, we hit them pretty good down the stretch. That was almost like it was Toronto's trouble. Their record against left-handers under 500. But the big thing is there that we've been playing pretty well. And since we got Cedeno and Jack was out, I think we held our own against left-handers down the stretch. So a good pitcher's a good pitcher, whether he goes left or right. We may have just as much trouble with Saberhagen or Gubazar as we will with the left-handers.
Whitey Herzog, thanks for the visit, and on behalf of St. Louis, we're all wishing you the best of luck.
Well, I just hope we can play well and represent the city well, because actually I live here 2.5 miles from the ballpark. I've managed here, but it's quite a thrill to bring the Cardinals here and play.
Whitey Herzog ready to lead his Cardinals in the battle tomorrow night in Game 1 of the World Series. Jay, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Arthur. And, of course, Mike Bush is also over in Kansas City. He used to work over in Kansas City. He knows Dick Hauser, the Royals manager, very well, and he talked things over with Hauser this afternoon.
Dick, do you ever feel that sometimes the Royals are like the Rodney Dangerfield of baseball? They get no respect. Here you are in the World Series. You were underdogs. You weren't supposed to beat the Blue Jays, and now you're not supposed to beat the Cardinals.
Well, that's probably the way it, odds makers. That's how Whitey said that I think the Dodgers were picked about the same odds that the Toronto was picked to beat us. So odds don't mean anything. I mean, St. Louis is a good club, but I think we've proved all year that we can get it done. The players know that our pitching staff is good enough to get this thing done. Now we're going to have to go out and score a few runs and hold them down.
As you came out of spring training, did you have any idea that this team could go to the World Series?
Yeah, I think our players did too, and that's when you fall behind sometimes during the season. We know over the long haul that our 5 starters and our bullpen are good enough to get it done. We don't have a weakness 1 through 5 in our starting pitching, and that means you are able to grind it out over the long haul. I knew it, and I'm sure the players felt like it, because when we got 7.5 games back where we had to win, we were always able to do it primarily with good, strong pitching.
All right, you got to go into this thing without the DH. How much of an advantage is that for the Cardinals?
I don't know. I think it'll all be determined how the games go, really. But I'm more concerned about their switch hitters and their bullpen and their team speed. We'll just have to wait and see on that. I don't think it's a real advantage. I know what's happened in some of these playoffs, these World Series. The National, when they've used the DH, the National League guys have gone, wow. They've really had, Dane Orge in '82, and I'm aware of that. But I really couldn't tell you how much effect that'll have.
People said the thing to do to stop the Cardinals was to stop Coleman and McGee. Well, McGee and Coleman were not much of a factor in the Dodgers.
I'm aware of that. It's just like with our club when they say, well, if Wilson doesn't get on or Smith doesn't get on, we don't win. But then all of a sudden Balboni hits a home run or George Brett takes you deep to the opposite field. Good clubs find a lot of ways to beat you, and certainly the Cardinals' speed is a big part of their ball club. But they've got a lot of guys in that lineup that can hurt you.
Dick, good luck to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. All right.
Dick Hauser, manager of the Royals. All right, Jay, back to you.
All right, and Mike, no baseball club is worth its salt without its fans. And the Cardinals are the best team in the National League, and the Cardinal fans are the best in all the world, believe me. And when we come back, we're going to take a musical look at 1985's longest party that is just beginning to gear up. As I travel the length and breadth of this country covering sports, I meet a lot of fans. I want to salute you Cardinal fans right now. You are the very best indeed. No preview of the World Series would be complete without a look at the teams and a team-by-team comparison, and I'm happy to bring that to you right now. It's that bullpen by committee, quite a story. We're going to take a close look at that in our next special. That will come up Monday night at 6:30, and I'll be back with some final thoughts in just a moment.
The Show Me Series special has been brought to you tonight by Budweiser, the king of beers. For all you do, this Bud's for you.
Well, I've been covering the St. Louis Baseball Cardinals for 19 years, and this 1985 season has been so very special. The thrills that have been provided by so many players have come together with a remarkable chemistry to get this team into the World Series. I do want to remind you again that we will be on the air Monday evening at 6:30 with a special right here from St. Louis as we look at what has happened in the first 2 games and look ahead to what might happen in the games to be played here. And we will have a very good look at that important cog in the Cardinal wheel, the bullpen by committee. Our special thanks, of course, to Mike Bush and Art Holliday, who are over in Kansas City with the team, and to all the crew. And a special salute to Gussie Bush tonight. Gussie, this one was for you. Jay Randolph from Busch Stadium in St. Louis. Have a pleasant weekend, everybody.